Sairam, we'll be starting our study circle in about a minute. I request everyone to gather in the bhajan hall. Sairam, let's start the study circle with 3 ohms. Oh. 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 Dear Swami, we are so grateful to be able to meet here together in your presence today. While we are here together studying your word in your Bhagavatha Vahini, we ask that you open our ears and hearts to whatever it is you want us to learn. Please speak through each one of us and help us progress in our spiritual journey. Jai Sairam. Sairam. All right. I think just a reminder to mute your cell phones. Let's speak from the heart and listen with humility. That's the best way to learn from what we speak. And just moving along, a quick review from last session. So last session, I know it was not recorded clearly, but we spoke about creation, preservation, and destruction as one divine act. We talked about how it's a cyclical process. We talked about how it is continuous. We talked about how it is the essence of the world. And then the different energies and what they represent. So Brahma's energy inspiring new ideas, while Vishnu's influence helps nurture those ideas. And then Shiva's force that helps us to let go of what no longer serves us for our upliftment or growth. That includes things like toxic relationships or old habits, etc., that we talked about. We also talked about how this helps us understand the impermanence of life and that being the philosophy of life in general. We moved along to Namasmarana. We did talk about Swami's quote on Namasmarana and talked about how today's technology can help us in that aspect, how it helps us at our individual level, and why it is important to use the technology to our benefit instead of completely shelving it, because that is not really possible in today's world. And then we discussed on what it brings to our lives and when we make it a routine to use the technology to our advantage. So that's a high level review of what we did talk about. If anyone wants to add something, this would be a great time. Okay, Sairam, we can move along. So today I thought we can continue with Swami's discourse on Namasmarana. This is another discourse. And the reason that Namasmarana, we are focusing on that is because we have taken in Gayatri chanting as one of our activities for Swami's 100th birthday for the retreat. And we are offering it as a gift to Swami. And we are hoping that this discussion would actually help us to connect within on our actions versus what we should be set in our thought as well. So just as a unity of thought, word, and action, the actions is something that we have done in the past. I don't know how many days is it? 92 days. Yeah. So 90 plus days, we have all been chanting. And even if you have missed a few, you've still done more than 50% of the days. Today is 96th day. Okay. So today is 96th day. We have 4 more days left to make it 100. So I think each one of us should thank 5 days, including today, right? After, yes. Oh, it's 100 days. Yes, correct. You're right. 5 days, yes. But it's Swami's divine grace. We got to pick this kind of a topic, especially this potent Gayatri mantra. And Srikant Sola always goes back to actually talking about the importance of Gayatri mantra and how Swami has, introduced him to something like that. And till today, it's his practice to chant the Gayatri every given moment. So I would like to play that discourse, but just his little, just to connect us to what the action is. So I'm hoping that video is in there. But let's start with a discussion on Namasmarana and why it is important to us, because it is not something that we are just doing as an action. Because if it is just an action, it doesn't need that kind of perseverance and patience from each one of us. We are all making time to do this. So we can go ahead and start the discussion. Okay. All right. This discourse is, Swami says, the name must, however, flow in the mind as in an uninterrupted stream. Namasmarana is a yoga, process of uniting with God. That is to say, it is a means of chitta vritti nirodha, of calming the agitations of the mind, subduing the waves of emotions and feelings. The nama, name, must always be associated, while intent on the smarana, remembering or recalling, with the nami, the named one. It is not a mere sound, it is a significance, the symbol of a form, of a fact. All the obligatory as well as optional acts pertaining to the process of living can be gone through with the name awareness as the inspiring background. The mind must be merged in the Godhead. It must be transmuted into the essence of Godhead. When the branch of a tree rubs against another, heat is generated, and in the depths of the forest, fires are started when this heat grows strong. Rub a stone over another, heat is generated, but the process must be without break. Breaks only decrease the heat. So the repetition of the name in the mind must be without a break. Then the fire of jnana, realization of reality, will burn out all weaknesses and delusion. Indulal Shah spoke to you now of the World Conference of Satya Sai organizations to be held in Bombay, 1968. Such organizations have been established and are working in many countries in order to spread light and hope among all peoples. For me, all countries are equally dear. The universe is the body of God. Ideas like my country are for limited minds, intellects that are bound within boundaries. There are thousands of institutions that profess to spread Bharatiya culture and preserve and publicize it. They are mostly engaged in campaigns for collection of funds. In the Satya Sai organizations, money is not the criteria. It need only your hearts for my residence and happiness. I do not like other temples or altars. Purify the heart by Namasmarana. I shall come and dwell therein. So this is Swami's discourse, and it also brings in the purpose of the organizations that we are all a part of. And as we all look forward to going to the retreat next week, I thought this was a great culmination of all of our sadhana, as well as the event that we will be participating in. So a few questions just to kickstart our discussion. This is just to put our focus on this. We can move along, but how can the continuous repetition of the divine name act like a fire that burns away ignorance and ego? Why is it important to connect the divine name, Nama, with the divine form, Nami, during remembrance rather than chanting mechanically? Does it help? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if chanting mechanically is the right word, but basically, does it help to have a form? That's what I'm trying to ask here. And then, what does it truly mean to purify the heart through Namasmarana? And how can we do it? Basically, that is something that I believe we should talk about. Yes, please go ahead.
Sai Ram, I was just reading discourse by Swami, which we all, I think we all know. whatever we say, that waves do have an effect. So the waves that transmit from us to others, to the entire world, it could be to the plant, it could be to another person, it could be to the earth, but they do have an effect. And so what we say definitely has an effect. So if we say that, if we chant any nama smarana, any nama, if we chant it, that waves that continuously transmit goes and brings in an effect in the environment. So when we chant a Lord's name or a divine form or divine name with complete faith, that is going to have a beneficial effect. If you're going to say something harsh, something negative, that also will have an effect. That's why that King Parikshit got that curse, because that son had that thing. When he cursed, that has an effect on that person. So the words do have a lot of effect. Sometimes we don't realize it. We just talk frivolously on many things. So we have to be very careful. Swami is a perfect example. He talks only perfect one sentence, one word, and that will have the profound meaning, very appropriate. We just have to be very careful about what we say. And I think Namasmarana, if we go back to it, I think it is excellent tool to benefit the entire environment. If not for our own benefit, I mean, in that context, it will benefit us. But more than that, it is going to help the whole world.
Absolutely.
Okay. Sairam, the second question, why is it important to connect divine name with a divine form during remembrance? It is for our sake, because the mind will wander around. So if you have a name and form, you can anchor it or in that form and the name, and then chant. So that might help for our mind, not to think of other things. That is one reason I can think of, so connecting to a divine name and form. And the continuous repetition of divine name act like a fire. Swami says once, it should be continuous, because it is not like you bring out your silvers and other special vessels during a wedding or some special occasions and clean it. But everyday cup and plate, you have to clean every day. So like to cleanse ourselves, the repetition of the divine name, that is the one to keep on chanting and chanting. That will help us to remove the ignorance, the dirt, especially ego. So that's what he compares that, don't clean your cup and plate once in a year. It doesn't help, it can harm you, in fact, dirty dishes, right? So something like that. If our mind is dirty, it can lead to a lot of things unwanted.
Sairam, you had mentioned about mechanical chanting,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So the way I understand, yes, if you have the faith and if you can bring the form in your mind and then chant, it's going to benefit you. But even this mechanical chanting, whatever we may call that mechanical chanting, if that word, because the waves have an effect, it will be beneficial. So it doesn't mean that because I'm not able to focus on that form when I chant, so I won't chant. That's not the correct thing. We should continue to chant, and then progressively, if we have that as a habit, regular chanting, then slowly we will be able to focus on that form, whatever we are chanting, and then it will start to benefit us.
Yeah. So I want to add on the mechanical chanting part. One thing is, when you're doing that, you're not doing something else. So there is an immediate benefit that since you are focusing on the chanting, then you are not talking something else. So in a complementary way, it is still benefiting. So so I think we should not ignore that mechanical process, because that still helps in that. But I think the ideal thing would be if our mind is focused on what we are saying. That will certainly help, because now we are not thinking about anything else. But the mechanical chanting, the part is you will be thinking about something else, but the
it is.
So
in the morning when we do it, I agree with you. We can, or whatever set time it is for you. For some time, we can focus. Now, 9 o'clock in the evening, we do focus. We know it is 10 minutes. Everything is at, we have already planned for it and we are doing it, right? But at the same time, if we are doing it throughout the day, we have so many things going on. This might be running at the back of our mind, but we are physically not really aligned to chant. So it's like a double-edged sword, believe. When you say do it the whole day and think about the form, and then you can't do anything else, I feel.
Yeah, but I think it is still okay. At least it's going in the background. I think, that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Instead of ignoring it completely, at least something is coming in.
Yeah,
But
that's
ideal will be
where
the
I was.
ideal.
That's what I was
So I
trying
want
to.
to address also the fire.
Yeah.
The tree is exactly a very good example. It is the same thing, same species rubbing against each other, which is producing that. So he talked about the stone, and then he talked about the. Similarly, even the name of the same name being repeated, that's what he's emphasizing
Yeah.
here. By doing it so, repeatedly, you are actually creating the fire of another. I think
Yeah.
that was a very good comparison there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Anyone else have anything to add?
Maybe we can think other way, Saira. Even on a busier day, we are taking time to do that mechanical chanting. So that itself is reminding God within you, which might help in the next step.
In Gurbani, there is a Shabad. They call it Shabad, as phrases as Shabad. Swas, swas, simro Govind. With every breath, we have to do it. We have to reach to that level. When someone's child is sick, we do not allot a special time. Okay, I will worry about my son from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Then I will be done. Or 5:30 to 6 p.m. will be my second time to worry about my son.
Yeah.
We worry all the whole day. We worry the whole day. That's what Nam Smarana should be. Every breath should be, involved in the Nam Smaranam. It's different. Definitely, we have to practice to that level, reach to that level. Beginning would be we assign a special time for doing it, and that will make you in a slow habit of doing it, and then we have to reach to that level that no breath gets wasted without smaran of your Lord.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my grandfather always used to say Namasmarana is the most important aspect what one individual should have in his life. Swami gave my grandfather an interview and he told that Namasmarana is like chanting Namasmarana is like collecting the bank balance. Like we are by doing Namasmarana, we are collecting the positive balance and depositing it in our karma bank. Swami exactly said this, that you don't know when you want to spend. It's not in your hands. But without you knowing it, your positive balance will be used to put you in a right way. So that is why every minute of Namasmarana is important. And one more thing I wanted to say is, there are so many, as Venkat sir said, there are so many positive energy waves around us. So, but we need some some interface for us to collect the waves, collect the positive energy into our body or mind or whatever. So Namasmarana is the interface. We keep on doing chanting Namasmarana, Swami's Namasmarana or any Namasmarana for any that matters. If we do that minute by minute, either mechanically or spiritually, knowingly or unknowingly, that waves will get attracted to the interface called Namasmarana, and they will get injected into your whatever way you want it be to project that thing.
Yeah, very nicely put. Yeah, the energy can be projected. Yes, please.
Sairam. See, you had mentioned about when in our day-to-day work, you mentioned correctly that it is going in the back background, right? So the thing is, if we practice to completely offer whatever we do to the divine, that is the total surrender. So then it is not you. What then that becomes part of it. I mean, that takes the predominance. Whatever we do, we have to completely focus on what we do. But then the moment we offer it as this one, so then it is so just like how we are preparing the altar, for example, or plucking a flower and preparing a garland. So how much care we take? Why do we do that? Because we are offering to the Lord. So when we do a work, our office work, we are doing that as an offering. So we will be completely focused on that. Yeah, so I think
I totally understand what you're, all I'm saying is we cannot focus on the form all the time.
no,
You know,
I think that's fine. Yeah.
yeah, that is that. So that's where that's what I mean by chanting mechanical, you know.
Yeah.
So,
So I want to also add something here. This afternoon, and Dhananjay and I were talking about, one question that came in Jeopardy last week, of all
Jeopardy.
for game. There was something that is, more fundamental than, we all knew about atoms and electrons and all these things. But that is very small percentage compared to what the answer in the Jeopardy was: dark matter. That's even more powerful than anything else.
Right.
So, I mean, I know only up to this point that electrons, we can come to that. So we were just discussing that. What is that? So there is something higher and higher and higher, which is creating even the little matter. And so Dhananjay was, talking about it, and finally, what the conclusion is, it's really actually the energy which converts to, the fundamental particle.
Right.
So the
Uh-huh.
energy is nothing but waves. The
Mm.
waves, when they match, exactly, then they amplify. When they
Yeah.
amplify, it gets more energy, and that energy gets converted into fundamental particle.
Right.
So something like this is going on. What is that energy that is there? Is more and more it is coming to a fundamental energy, which is nothing but maybe it is Om,
Yeah,
which we
I
have
know.
been talking about. So Namasmarana actually is transmitting that. And so we are actually, populating the world with more of that.
Yeah.
So whether we just do it mechanically or not, I think that's got its benefit.
Yeah. Thank you.
So yeah, that's what I was about to say. The example they always give in the scriptures is the fire. Fire will burn, whether you do it intentionally, to touch it intentionally or unintentionally. That's what Nam Smaranam is. And the topic is about is related to giving a Smaranam of a form. So we have literature going from Sargun Upasana to Nirgun Upasana. From Upasana of a form, Nam Smaranam of the form, and Upasana without a form also. So, but I mean, that's beyond this platform of today's discussion. We definitely need to go towards that level also.
Right. So what does it mean to purify the heart through Namasmarana, and how can we do that? It's just chanting and we will purify it?
Yeah, I think Shankaran was mentioning. I think if we do that with the full focus, that time that we would have spent in to cater to our mind is taken away, because we all have only 24 hours a day, and this time is fixed. So the more we spend on Namasmarana, the less the time we are going to spend on mind body complex related activities. So to that extent, we are purifying the heart.
I would also like to add, just chanting God's name reminds us of the 5 human values and those values that they embodied within their own like epics
Yeah.
stories. So
Yeah.
we could, by chanting their names, we're also remembering those things to invoke in our daily lives as well.
Very good. Nice point, Pankaj. Yep, absolutely. Anyone else have anything to add? Should be on.
Is that mechanical versus non-mechanical? Venkatji, can you comment on that? The effect of mechanical and non-mechanical chanting.
See, I think this is my own take. I'm not sure if I am 100% correct. Mechanical chanting means your mind is not focused on the form or on the words that you chant, because you have been chanting for so many years or so many days. Your lips and the mouth automatically comes with that thing. And then the mind is still wandering, doing something, but still that is beneficial to the environment. And even though your mind is, but if you're able to focus on that form or on that words that you're chanting, your heart, that faith part of it is going to bring benefit to you. So you're spiritually going to be uplifted, or you're going to move spiritually, grow spiritually, if you're able to focus. And that is the non-mechanical part of chanting. That's how I understand.
Yeah, so as I think about, that they have in, Paramahamsa Yogananda, autobiography, at one point he says, when he's going with his brother-in-law or somebody, he goes to a temple and then he's lost in meditation. And the brother-in-law is thinking about lunch. And so, I always wonder about that. How can we get into that state? I have never experienced.
Why did Amazon send me?
I do not know how one would experience that, because that's what this means, really focusing on that, on the name and form. That means you have lost yourself in about anything else. Then I don't think I have experienced that. So I cannot really say how that means. I don't know if anybody else is.
There's a phrase that you mentioned that I'm really confused. Lost in meditation. What does that even mean? I don't know.
Yeah, because in that book, when Yogananda describes it, as far as his brother-in-law is concerned, this guy is lost. He's not waking up. Time is running out. It is much beyond 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and we are supposed to go for lunch. Prasad thing is all closed in the temple, and he is still closed his eyes and he's out. And as far as he is concerned, he is lost. That's all.
There is a story of, actually with Swami Vivekananda. He was with a group of people. He started meditation just for a few minutes to initiate them. And then he just went into Samadhi. And they are sitting morning, evening. Next day, they got up. They are hungry. They are thirsty. They need to stretch their legs. They went and came back. He was still in meditation. That is lost in meditation. He was in a different world. Next day only, he came back. That is one thing. The other one is mechanically. I have seen, again, I bring my relatives, I won't name. They will do the Shiva Puja, whatever puja. I have seen it. They say, Om Shivaya Namaha. Then they will get, hey, see, somebody is at the door. Yeah. Can you go get it? Sarveshwaraya Namaha. And then some other comment will come. Right? We have seen those things, right? Our grandfathers. So that is mechanically they are doing the archana. Mind is around them, what is going on. See, that is the difference. Losing yourself in the namasmarana or meditation, you don't have the awareness of surroundings. Other one is, one more thing about the energy, the sound, I talked about it before. Even Alexander, famous neurosurgeon, he was in Charlottesville. He had so many people come. He does surgery, and they come back and say after surgery, I saw God. I went. He just listened. He said, "Oh, really?" Like a condescending voice. He never believed in any of it. And then he himself contacted. He had some bacterial infection in his brain. He went into coma for months. But he was a non-believer. But he, after coming back, he wrote a book, Proof of Heaven. In that, he talks about where he went, immersed for a long time in darkness, and then some angels came and took him. And there was this powerful sound, he said. The closer he can say, it sounds Om. That's the only vibration. He said that is heaven, that is God. He explains it so well. So he absolutely no faith in God or no belief in afterlife or in heaven. So that's one thing, say that the sound, primordial sound, Om is the energy, that vibration.
So I am reminded of Venkat Sadanand. He once said that he was sitting in meditation and then he sat for a long time, many hours. And then one person said that, you know what, you need to be in that state of stillness of mind for only 30 seconds or some 11 seconds, right? And then he said, why do you have to sit for 5? He said that I'm lost. I mean, I don't know how the time goes by. So those people are advanced and we are not there yet, certainly. But I can give a small change that happens. For me, 6 o'clock, I'm hungry. 5:30 itself, my stomach is like, when are you going to give me? When are you going to give me 6? But for Saturday bhajans, I don't feel that because I'm so involved in that, right? Even though it is for only 1 extra hour, but still we are progressing. So let's give ourselves a little bit of, this one. But Shirdi Baba said that don't do anything empty stomach. So for us all, he has given us the right direction, I feel.
Sairam, I wanted to actually play this. This is Brother Shrikant Sola, and a lot of us know him. I follow him devotedly, of course. But I think this, it's a very...
When I started doing this simple ear trick to help fight off dementia, my friends
How do I mute this? Okay.
laughed at me, but when they saw how much I'd improved,
Loving Sairams to everyone. So nice to see all of you again after a break. For today's satsang, what I thought we would do is review an alternative to Instagram and TikTok. Okay, and this is a mala. It's called a rosary in English, japa mala. Oftentimes, it can be made of different material. This is one that's made of sunstone. Was physically blessed by Swami back in the days, and this is what I use. But you can use any material depending on your requirements, right? From tulsi to rudra to various crystals and so forth. These malas come in different types, so you have different lengths. You have a japa mala, which is usually 108 beads, right? So that is used for counting, and you have other lengths depending on your requirement. Has anyone ever shown you how to use a mala? You just sort of picked it up and assumed that was correct. It's the easiest thing to do, and there's no right or wrong way. But I thought I would share some tips that have helped me in my practice. Is that okay? Yeah? Okay. So first of all, let's just hear from you. How do you use a mala? Usha, if you can please share. How do you use a mala for chanting? Okay. So there's one way. Yes. Yeah. So there's one way like this, right? Can you just hold your hand up so that everyone can see? So she's holding it like this, right? With the, sorry. Yes. Yeah, so you can do it like this, and then you can move it along this way. And that's one way of doing it, right? Now, obviously, you won't be holding it high up like this, but you'll be doing this. And this is a very effective way because you can keep the mala in your lap. And then as you're counting, then your thumb will just move the mala down so that you count on one bead after you finish. That's fine. That's totally fine. That's the most common way, I think, that most people do. I just tend to hold it in my palm or in my lap, and then I just count from one bead to the next. It doesn't matter. Sometimes I'll just hold two beads together. There's no, unlike in regular meditation where you might have different mudras for different purposes depending on what you're trying to do. For holding a mala, for counting for japa mala, there's no specific mudra that you need to hold. It's more about the intention. And it's more about the chanting, okay? So holding the mala is the easiest thing in the world. How do you chant, though? That's the hard part. How do you chant? So Lalit, how do you chant? So have devotion. Yes.
And if you are able to visualize oneness with that deity or form, and then
Okay.
that is the best.
Good. So I'm glad you said that last part. Visualize oneness with whatever deity or form that you are chanting to. Thank you. So the most common way is we chant, like let's just say we chant Om Sri Sai Ram, right? Good. Very good. Very powerful. And you can imagine maybe that Swami is standing before you and you can chant. That's great. You can also imagine that if your mind drifts off, that Swami will also wander away too. So you keep him with you just through the power of your chanting, right? And then you do it, as Lalit said, with devotion, because that is very powerful. That's what gives the strength or the oomph to the mantra, right? That's what gives it power. The words of the mantra are themselves very powerful. But when we chant with devotion, it gives more power. When we chant with one pointedness, it gives even more power. Have you ever had the experience that you're chanting and then your mind goes off after some time to something else? Yeah? To laundry or to ordering food for groceries or whatever it is. Yeah? Happens to all of us. What do you do then when that happens?
Excessively, feel extreme fatigue, or have blurred vision due to diabetes. Place this under your tongue.
Just gently bring the mind back. Just gently bring it back. Like a young child that doesn't know any better, just gently bring it back. That's all. And then continue the chanting. Don't try to make a disturbance like that, you know. Just gently bring it back. Okay? Where do you chant? Where do you chant? Like in a particular room, in a particular place? Where do you chant? In a particular place. Like what kind of place? In your puja room, that's fine. Where else? Whenever you find time. Yeah, whenever you find time. So instead of, see, what happens to many of us is we get distracted. And the real reason for these distractions, we want to blame our cell phone and social media and all those things. And maybe they're true to some extent. But if you go deeper, 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 the real reason for these distractions is that there's some internal discomfort, right? Something inside of us is not feeling right. Usually it's a little bit of anxiety, maybe some fear, maybe some boredom sometimes, but something inside of us is not right. And so we're looking for something else and we get distracted. And then what do? We pick up our phone, most commonly in today's world, right? Instead, turn to your mala in those times. Okay, turn to your mala. Now, if you have a mala that you are wearing around your neck, you don't have to physically take it off at that time and then start chanting. You can simply just chant on the tips of your fingers, right? Like you would see our elders do. So I still do this. I don't know if that makes me an elder, but I still chant like this many times. So it's very effective. And this is what I do when I'm in a car, not when I'm driving, but when I'm in a car, when I'm in a plane, when I'm waiting for a flight, in the metro. This is, I get, actually when I'm traveling, I do way more sadhana than I do on regular days, just because of this chanting. So wherever you are and whenever you find time, are there any other times that you can chant? That you can chant on your mala? Are there any times of the day that you can chant? So Brahma Muhurtam, yes. And what else? Yes. Why do certain communities do Sandhya Vandanam? Does anyone know? Why do we chant Gayatri at that time? What happens when we chant Gayatri at sunrise and sunset? What does it do to our karmas? The daily karmas that you accumulate, we are getting rid of it washes them away, yes. So chanting Gayatri mantra, Swami has said this in a discourse. When we chant Gayatri mantra at 3 times at dawn, at noon, and at dusk. It washes away the karmas from the previous hours, whether they were intentional karmas like, puchu, like that, or whether there's something that you did by accident, unknowingly, it will wash away those karmas. Now, I honestly, the noon chanting, I never get. I don't get it because I just forget because it's too busy in the workday. But the dawn and dusk Gayatri mantras are generally can stick to that. So try this. You can do the Gayatri mantra at particular times. Are there any other mantras that you can chant that are like really good? Om Namah Shivaya is there. Okay. Anything else? Soham is good. That's very good. Yes. You can chant. See, there's so many mantras you can chant depending on your requirement. Depending on your requirement. Sometimes you just want to calm the mind. Sometimes you want to focus on God in devotion. Sometimes you want to have a more contemplative experience, like when you want to chant Soham, for example. I am that, I am God. So you can choose the mantra based on this. Now, should you stick to one mantra in general, or can you change it around? What do you think? Better to stick to one mantra. I generally have only two mantras. I chant either my personal practice, and please don't do this just because I'm doing it, but I'm just giving you an example, is I chant either Gayatri mantra or I chant Kleem Krishnaya Govindaya to cleanse the mind. Those are the two that I chant. And then in the morning, when I'm walking, I do my regular chanting as I'm walking. So this is my practice. Maybe you have something different, and there may be other mantras that are meaningful to you that you chant. But stick to the same mantras. Don't change it because today is Monday and I should pray to this God, and today is Tuesday and I should pray to this God, and today is Wednesday, I should pray to this God. For God, there is no time, okay? It doesn't work that way for God. There is no time. So you chant whatever you want, but you stick to that so that the power increases over time. Have you noticed that when you're chanting, you develop a certain energy in your body? Have you felt that before? Yeah, that's when you know that the chanting is effective. That's one way. How else do you know that the chanting is effective? What are the other things? You chant unconsciously, sure. Becomes part of you, yes. Yes. Yes.
And you might get chanting soon. Means more than what usually you may experience the mantra more.
So you know that you're chanting well when the chanting becomes continuous, even when you don't intend to do it. So the other day, for example, I was cycling, and even while cycling, the Gayatri mantra was still going through me. It just comes continuously. And so it becomes continuous, a part of you. What else will tell you that? So one is you feel this lovely energy. Second is it becomes continuous. What else will help you know that it's continuous? You change in your awareness. You can go into ananda, go into bliss. Yes, you experience that bliss because, to say the name of God, it's not so easy. So once Swami was on the veranda and he was in a jolly mood, and he said, to be able to say Sai Ram, to be able to say the name of God, one must have lived at least 100,000 births. So all the older men who were there, very senior, very serious, sincere devotees were there, were like, Sai Ram Swami, we're so lucky, they were thinking like that. And then what Swami does is he starts to inflate the ego like a bicycle pump with the tire. He starts to inflate, so he starts to go along with this, and he plays along with this game. And some of them are thinking internally, I must be such an old soul. I say Sai Ram all the time like this, So this is how Swami plays. Then he said, but to want to know the Brahma Vidya, one must have lived at least 1 million births. To want to know the Brahma Vidya, the truth, the knowledge of the self, one must have lived at least 1 million births. So, but the foundation is chanting the name of God. Should you chant out loud? Should you whisper, or should you say it mentally? Depends on the time and place, meaning?
If I'm in a crowd,
Mm-hmm.
I would prefer to do it.
Yeah, if you're in a crowd, then chant, silently, or maybe just whisper it out, right? Um, if you are like, if I'm trekking, for example, and it's a slow pace, I would chant out loud. But if I'm huffing and puffing, if I'm running, obviously I'm just chanting internally, even when I'm running. If I am in a crowd, like you said, I would chant internally. If I'm at an airport, I would just chant internally. But if I'm in a metro where there's a lot of noise, I might whisper it out. But otherwise, which is better from a spiritual perspective? Which will give you the most bang for your buck?
There are two types of people who should avoid taking gabapentin for neuropathy. Anyone who wants to keep both legs healthy. And
What I usually do is I start chanting loudly,
Mm-hmm.
and then after a couple of minutes, I don't know how it transitions. It becomes silent, and it becomes a internal
Yes,
chanting.
this is a very good point. So as you're chanting and as you go deeper and deeper into the chant, it will become silent on its own. Okay, you will become silent on its own, and you'll just become softer, softer, softer until it becomes internal. But what Swami says is that when you say it out loud, it has so much effect. When you whisper it, it has more effect. And when you do it internally in the mind, it has the most effect. So chanting mentally has the greatest effect. How fast should you chant? What speed should you be chanting? Should you say Om Bhurbhuvasva Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya, or should you chant Om Bhurbhuvassuvaha Tat Savitur Varenyam? What speed should you chant?
Slower is better.
Why?
To hear the syllables, that's enough. My personal.
You hearing the syllables is one thing. Swami has to hear the syllables. That's more important, no?
That means if I can hear, that's like a basic test.
Yes.
At least I should be able to hear. Then God might hear.
Yes, exactly. So God does not care about quantity, okay? It's quality that he wants. I mean, you've heard Swami say, no, one spoonful of cow's milk is better than one barrel full of donkey's milk. So don't worry about how many malas you do, okay? Don't say, I will do 2 malas, 5 malas, 4 malas. You're not going to the gym and trying to lift more weight. It's not like that. Swami cares about quality. So focus on quality repetitions where your mind is straight on that each syllable, and each word should be chanted with devotion, whether it's out loud, whether it's whispered, whether it's mentally, it doesn't matter, but where each word is chanted with devotion. Yeah, that's the key. And what you'll find is you'll find yourself full of joy. Yeah, you find yourself full of peace when you're chanting. This is the cure for what ails us, especially in this Kali Yuga. I think if more people chanted, we wouldn't have so many problems in the world like we do right now. Okay. So questions on chanting? I have some questions. Wait, I didn't finish my questions. So where do you keep your mala when you're done with it? Do you stick it in your pocket? Do you put it back on? What do you do with your mala? Do you keep it on the dining table? What happens? Usually wear it, okay. And do you wash this? Like you take a shower every day, no? So do you, or bath every day? Do you wash this also? How do you take care of this? How often should you wash your mala? Shivani? You should wash it at least a couple of times a week. So you go outside, knowingly or unknowingly, you pick up other people's energies, right? And so the same thing happens to your mala as well, right? It also picks up those energies that you have been around, right? And it's changing your energy as well. It's changing your aura, but you need to clean it. Just rinse it in water. Okay, now here's something a little bit different that you can do. What I do is I have a mala like this that I wear, okay? And the reason I don't use this one for chanting unless I'm traveling is because this will get affected by whatever energies around me, maybe if I'm stressed, whatever it may be. So my chanting mala is actually a separate mala that I keep in a box, or maybe you keep it in a bag, and that's used only for chanting. I don't wear that mala, that white mala that I have upstairs. Yeah. So and when I pick up that mala, I even hold it if in my meditation. I don't, if I finish my chanting and I just go into meditation, the power from that chanting stays with me for a long time, just as I'm in the meditation. Yeah. Do you see the difference? So you can wear a mala. I find it very, very useful. But if you're going to chant on a mala, what I suggest is you have a mala just for chanting, okay? And keep it just for chanting. Now, should you let other people handle your malas? No, it's just for you. Should you handle other people's malas? No. Don't get freaked out if somebody picks up your mala. It's okay. But in general, keep your malas for yourself, right? It's meant for you. Yes. Keep it washed. Don't keep it on the dining table and public places, like that. Keep it in your puja or your altar so that it's kept just for you. All right. So now you're all experts in chanting. Yes. You understand how to use a mala. You understand how to reduce your time on Instagram by chanting. Reduce your boredom. And when you find yourself getting agitated, nervous, worried, then pick up your mala and start to chant instead. Obviously, take action, whatever is needed, think through it. I'm not saying, deny what you have to face, but use the chanting with the mala to strengthen yourself. Any questions on this? You guys are cool? Chill? Okay. Go practice, come back, self-realized.
Okay, Sairam. So I just thought that culminates our entire session on chanting. I think this video for me, it actually brought together first off Gayatri, because he talked about Gayatri, Gayatri chanting and the power of the mantra and how we should do it. Now that we are culminating our 100-day, if you want to learn something on how you want to put this into practice in your daily life, maybe this is a great start to kind of just put this, have a mala or have beads, whatever works for you. You can make your own malas, actually. I was actually thinking of that as an activity today, and then I thought it's already a long day, can't do it. But that is one thing that we can all make our own malas for, and then we can do that. He has that guidance as well in one of his videos. So again, just coming back to Namasmarana and the importance of chanting and how we can make this our practice. I think this culminates a lot of those things, brings it all together. So if anyone has anything to add, this would be a great time. I do not want to start the next chapter because that's where we are going next.
I just want to share a small miracle of
Please.
Swami about Namasmarana. This is back in 2005 or 6, I don't remember. I have an uncle. He stays in Kolkata. He works in Indian Railways. Now he's an Indian Railways officer, but back in 2005 or something like that, he used to work in a shipping company in Visakhapatnam, India. So that is the time where a computer, invoices or digital invoices are not so popular. Everything they used to handle in a paper form or something. So once my uncle's position is like normal, what we say, clerk to some of the officer in the port. So his duty that day was to, that is a Friday, I remember, that is a Friday. That duty was to deliver a receipt of some vessel, a ship, which is dealing is in crores or something like that. It is very confidential and important. That is the only original receipt that boss gave him to submit on Monday to other customs officer or something. I don't. So it was crores of rupees with documented in one paper. So my uncle, he put it in his top pocket, and there is a market in Visakhapatnam called Purna Market. That is exactly replication of what Times Square is. If you lost something in Times Square, you can't get it back. So, right. So he
Yes.
dropped it in that market. He did not know that he dropped it. Somehow while buying groceries or something, he dropped it. Now the problem is that is the paper where it should not have an copy until and unless the other party agreed to copy the receipt or something. So if this paper is lost, this boss will be fired, not only fired, and it would, lead to the police case or something, because it is some government vessel related. So after knowing that he lost his receipt, my uncle was, devastated. He have nothing to do. And on top of that, he would have imposed a fine where, as a middle class person, he could not bear that. He's shivering. He's in 29s or something, 30s or something. He is not married. So he came to my house and he's asking my grandfather, Uncle, what should I do? I mean, this is the situation. I'm going to go to jail on Monday. It's confirmed. My boss will be fired. I will be fired. So I don't have money to get imposed, pay the fine imposed or something. So my grandfather said, see, I am railways. You are in shipping company. I don't have an idea of how to deal with this all, but I know one solution. If you can do that, let's see what happens. He told, you have time till Monday, right? Do Namasmarana, do Sai Gayatri and Namasmarana. That's it. I can't suggest more than that. So he now replied, so I came to you because you are already working in some parallel to shipping or in Indian railways. I thought you would give some idea about that. You are telling you are doing better idea. You are telling to do Namasmarana. See, all my life I did Namasmarana. That is what I can deliver to you. You lost your receipt in some market, and I don't have energy or time to go search for it. Right? You do Namasmarana. So again, my uncle is resisting that. So my grandfather told one thing. See, however, you're gonna go to jail. That you fixed it. You are clear with that, right? Second thing is you don't have money to pay the fine, right? Only good thing is you're not married. If you're married, because of you, your family would be in trouble. You see, that is fixed. So, however, if you do Namasmarana, I don't know things can change or not, but you try doing this. So my uncle, this fellow, stayed 2 days in my home only, and he, on Swami's picture, he's a Swami's devotee only, but the time,
Looking
he
for
started-
solution.
Solution. He started doing Sai Gayatri. I was kid there. I was roaming, So he started doing Sai Gayatri, and while sleeping, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. And again, my grandfather, after dinner, he came and he asked, see, you're chanting Sai Ram, Sai Ram. I can hear the shivering in your voice. You're doing Sai Ram, Sai. Don't think of the incident that happened. Just think of Swami and do Namasmarana. Then I remember throughout the whole night, he did Jagarana and he did Namasmarana and everything. On Monday morning, he should be in his office at 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. So I remember how stressed his Sunday, that life Sunday would be for him. I remember. So on morning 8 o'clock, he's full fever, fever, and still is continuing doing like Sai Ram is doing like that. So his 8 o'clock, he's supposed to be in the office in the port, but he did not go to the office there, the early hours. My grandfather asked, why are you not going to office? What wrong did you do? If you're not going to the office, it will become more effective for you. You just go to the office. And he, like a school kid, he dressed up and is going. So he went to the office. Now, this is till here, this is what we saw. I mean, as what
Family,
he's suffering.
yeah.
The other side of the story is more interesting now. He went to the office, and every day he should report to his boss at 8. After he went to the office, he should report. He went to the boss's chamber, like shivering and kind of nothing. His boss asked, hey, why are you late today? I said, I'm having some fever. And, oh, okay. Take these files and go to the other office and customs office, go deliver it. And my wife is hosting a dinner tonight. Come with your family. If you have family, come with her. His boss is like he's not giving attention to this invoice.
Yeah.
So now he doesn't want to raise the topic.
Yeah.
And he opened the file that his boss gave, and the first paper is the invoice he lost in the market.
Oh.
Yeah, very first paper is invoice is lost in the market. He double checked. the vessel number and everything is matching. And he now asked, this, you gave me, I mean, on Friday, you gave me this copy that I have to deliver it on Monday. How come it is here? And so the boss's answer was, his name is Shabrinath. Shabrinath, you've gone mad or what? Yesterday evening, you only sent your servant that you're not feeling well. You might miss the office tomorrow. So that is the reason your servant came and gave me the receipt. So I thought you're not giving it today. So you came today, that's why I gave again it today. So that is the power of Swami. He came home back, and he told my grandfather that I'm not leaving Swami till my end of the life.
Yeah.
Because this is typically should be the end of my life, and he gave me second life. So that is the power of Swami and Namasmarana. Yeah.
Very nicely said. Thank you. That is a beautiful story. Thank you, Sai Prashant. I think that truly culminates our satsang on Namasmarana. I think it's it's 6 o'clock, so we will end with Om and 3 Shantis. And we do have Gayatri chanting today, so we can take it from there. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sai Ram. Thank you all for participating.